Welcome to Voices of Victory. I'm your host, Tanir, and this is the space where resilience meets purpose. Here we share powerful stories of strength, perseverance, and triumph to inspire you to push past obstacles and claim your victory. Today, we have an incredible guest, guys. I'm so excited to have her here with me. I'm going to let her introduce herself and share a little bit about her journey.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me on this lovely podcast. My name is Kellina Powell, aka the Deaf Queen Boss. I am so many hats, so I'm international speaker, an author, and an advocate for the deaf community. And so what my story I wanted to talk about is the healing and overcoming my disability. I actually became deaf at the age of 4 due to an ear infection. So I'm excited to tell you guys more about my story.
Awesome. So, what inspired you, Kalina, to become an entrepreneur?
I wanted to make a difference for the younger generation. Well, while I was growing up, I realized that there's not enough of role models who were disabled. And I found it difficult for me to navigate both the hearing community and the hearing community to really understand who I am as a person. And I realized that in order to make a change, I have to make the opportunities. I have to create that for people out there who are nervous to come out. And so that's why I started becoming an entrepreneur. It's really making so much impact in people's life, not just for the youth, but also everybody as a whole, whether they are not disabled or not.
Awesome. So, what were some of the challenges you would say you had to face as a deaf business owner?
Um, accommodation. And what I mean by that is sometimes, business owners don't know how to be acceptable. So I have to always consistently being advocating for myself, always asking questions. So a lot of business owners may not know what to do, or sometimes I may get rejected because they are not sure how they can communicate with me. Instead of asking me questions, a lot of them assume that they cannot communicate with me through vocals because I understand that some people think that a deaf individual they only learn sign language, and so that was not the case with me. I'm hard of hearing, and so I do speak and sign a little bit, not too much. So that is one of the struggle I face a lot as a business owner, especially as a deaf woman, being able to advocate for myself consistently, teaching business owner how to have closed caption, right? A lot of business owners do not know how to have closed caption through Zoom call or Google Meet, etc.
Right. So many people see your disability as a limitation, but you've
Exactly.
turned it into a strength. How did you develop that mindset?
Two stories actually. So it's very cute. So the very first story, when I was younger, I was working at a big park in Canada, and a little boy approached me with his hearing aids because my hair was in a ponytail, and it was
Mhm.
super hot that day. It was really hot, you guys. Like it was super hot. And so the boy approached me, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm deaf too. Look at my ears." And he also wears hearing aids. And I was so shocked and awe. And his mom, like, literally was so emotional. I never seen a parent so emotional in my life. Everyone, like, very emotional. She said, since you just did something so simple like that, you're going to inspire the world. I can see it in me, but I don't know if you can see it in yourself. But I'm confused for a second. I'm like, huh? I just put my hair in a ponytail. I didn't even think of the big deal. And so it really leads me to really think about how can I allow these young children to have that hope in themselves, saying that nothing is wrong with them. And
Right.
so when when I got older, I went to university, I studied psychology, and I didn't really think about it. It was always back in my mind until I actually met a deaf professor. So that was more exciting for me, just like the little boy
Right.
saw me. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in the little boy's shoes now. And I had a great conversation with my professor about getting myself out there in terms of finding a deaf professional. And it was super
Mhm.
hard. And when I had a great conversation with him about my career path, because I told him I didn't know what I wanted to be because I feel like people's going to overlook me or people's not going to accommodate me because I'm deaf. And he said,
Right.
no. He's like, no, look at this. You and I, just now. You
Right.
never know who needs your voice. you will be shocked how many people who will need your voice. And that's something I learned from my professor. And I said, wow, maybe I can actually make a difference. And he gave me a lot of suggestions. He said, why don't you write a book? Why don't you become a coach? Why don't you do this? So there were so many ideas he created for me, and I had no idea that truly existed and that could
Right.
actually make an impact. And that's really how I started to really understand my myself and really learn that I can actually make an impact. And I have to be honest with myself. Do I really want to get myself out there? Knowing that there are going to be negative people out there, going to be
Right.
opinion about stuff about your stuff, like what you look and all this stuff. And I had to face it myself. And I had a very good, strong support system in my family, which was
Mhm.
amazing. And I'm super glad that my family supported me no matter what I wanted to do. So that's really, yeah.
That's amazing. So it went from a little boy being super inspired and excited to you being excited by the professor. That's amazing.
Yeah, like
So
honestly, everyone, like I was shocked. Like I don't think I ever met an adult that looks like me till that day. So that really definitely inspired me to even go harder for my community and
right,
go even harder for the youth because there's not a lot of role models out here nowadays. Everything
no,
is social media. Oh, you gotta do this. The new norm now. Like you need to be an
right,
entrepreneur. Like oh, you need to make $1 million because that's not reality, and that's something I
no,
learned a lot when I was starting my entrepreneur journey with. It's just not reality. Like what they were saying online was not good.
I have to agree. And it's not for everybody. Like, go quit your job and just start being an entrepreneur. So
It is.
what was like the biggest barrier you had to break to achieve success, Kellina?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say there's a lot, to be honest, with everybody. It
Okay.
was the matter of mindset to really believe in myself. And I feel like a lot of us truly do not talk about mindset a lot, especially as an entrepreneur. And we
Okay.
don't have the right support system, especially when you're new in the space. You're trying to make new friends, and you don't know if they're the right people to talk to about certain things in business. And so I would say for me, it was really being honest with myself and being able to have the right coach for myself. What I mean by that, a lot of coaches, they just sell you stupid video and they don't teach you the ground of starting a business when it comes to mindset. Because you need to
Right.
have a positive mindset in order to become successful. You can't have a negative mindset to start a business. You can't be overwhelmed to start a business. You need to have a team. You need to have a really good, solid team. And
Right.
even too, as well, is taking care of yourself. And that was something I didn't know about until I met my second coach, and she was talking to me because I was overwhelmed, I was burnt out, and I was struggling a lot with Instagram and everything. And so she said to me, "You need to calm down. This is business.
Right.
It's going to be a roller coaster. You need to take care of yourself. If you can't take care of yourself, how are you supposed to take care of everybody else?" And that was something I had to learn the hard way. So I'm so grateful that I hired the right coach. And if you're someone listening trying to figure out how do you find the right coach, I will always tell everyone is that have a free discovery call with them. Ask them as much question you want. Do not
Right.
feel intimidated by these coaches just because they're super successful. Like no, at the end of the day, some of them may actually truly want to help you, and some may not,
Right.
and that's okay. And that's how it is in the world. And
Right.
so that was one of the barriers I had to face when I started my business, especially I'm still going through it right now, especially being able to be open minded and trying to take care of myself before anything else.
That's just amazing. So, how do you empower others to embrace their unique journeys and overcome self-doubt?
Yeah, I do a lot of self talk with everybody that I talk to, and
Hmm.
especially my clients. And I always I'm always honest with myself, with everybody around me, and want them to feel like, wow, like if Kalina is deaf and she can accomplish so much, so can I. And I also offer free 15 minutes discovery call with me with a lot of people. I did over 150 last year discovery
Right.
call with all these clients and for free for 15 minutes, and they were shocked and they're like, wow, you really inspired me, like wow, like thank you so much. So I pour a lot of people. I listen to people what they're going through. I listen all the time.
Right.
Because not everybody is hurt. So I feel like when people meet me, they're like, "Oh my god, like you just do something to me," and I'm like, "I don't know what I did, but I just asked you a question, right?" And I listen, and so that's what how I empower people and inspire people by by letting them know that they're not alone, right? Letting them know
Mhm.
that there are other people in the world. So how many people in the world? Billions of people in the world, and you really think that you're by yourself? No,
Right.
I don't think so. And so I always put light in people's hearts, letting people know that you can be who you are without being scared. So that's really how I empower people.
Oh, that. So you mentioned before to me that you are an author.
Yes, I am.
What are the challenges you had to go through to put out your book?
Um, well, honestly, during the journey of my book was very difficult. For those who don't know, as someone who is deaf and hard of hearing, sometimes a lot of us have a hard time writing things correctly, especially sentences. I
Mm-hmm.
struggled a lot with that when I was in high school, actually. And if you were to tell me back in time that I was going to be an author, I would laugh at you guys. Like, I would laugh. I'd be like, there's no way I'm an author. I cannot do English class. And
Right.
so I would just so bad. And so I would say the challenges was to find a good editor who could understand my vision. And I think that's in general, right? Find the right people to understand your vision. And so that was something I did struggle with a lot, but I'm so grateful that I found one person who really respects me so much and understands my value, my vision, my mission, and my book. So that was one of the struggle I did struggle a lot writing my book. And number two, I would say obviously marketing. I think we all struggle with marketing, okay? I
Yes.
would not say it was easy. I honestly, truly, what I did was I joined a lot of Facebook groups that
Okay.
resonate with my niche, and I posted it. And a lot of people like rewrite it, people reposted it in different groups for me. I had no idea. And then I became, little did I know, I became the best-selling author twice. And what else did I do? I promoted on Instagram. I collaborated with a lot of other people who are already an influencer, however,
Right.
who are in my niche. So I actually send them a free book for them to talk about it on their story, on their platform. So that's a great way to market your books if you are someone
Yes.
who are in learning how to do it. Or you can always let me know and ask me a question. My DM is always open. Just please put in podcast so I know it's you, that you were
Right.
listening through a podcast. So yes.
Yes. That's amazing. So how did you come to like say, okay, I want to write a book. This is what I want my book to be about.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay, have you
Okay.
ever read a book by a deaf author before?
No.
So that's the reason why
Okay.
I wrote my book. So I did my research before I even wrote my book. So a
Mm-hmm.
mentor of mine told me, again, she actually suggested me, oh, write a book.
Mm-hmm.
That was the second person that told me that. And I was like, something really telling me to do it. And so I did my research first before I waste my time in writing a book.
Right.
And so I reached out to my network and I actually asked them the same question that I just asked you. Have you guys read a book by that author? 90% of them said no. I was like, wait,
Okay.
what? And they said,
Right.
if you write a book, Kellina, we will promote you like crazy. Because we never. And then it was so inspiring for other people who never read a book by that author because they never came across them before. And that's what inspired me to actually start my first book.
Okay.
And the second thing is, I would say is, again, when I was in, I think, grade 11, I was
Mm-hmm.
actually looking for a deaf book to read, actually. And I couldn't find any.
Wow.
Yeah. My inner child was stuck somewhere in me. And I knew I
Mm-hmm.
had to break it. And then something just told me, just write a book. And that's how I wrote my first book.
Wow, that's amazing, Kalina. Definitely make sure you send me the link. I would love to support. I would love to read your book and definitely talk about it on a platform.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's awesome. My audience would probably be very interested in reading the book.
Yeah, and also you guys, honestly, it's a poetry book, which is even better. A poem book.
Yes. My goodness, I'm excited. You guys don't know how excited I am. I told Kellina before we even got on the recording that she is the first guest of season 2, guys. And I was just so excited to speak with her. And look, she's amazing. Okay. But what advice would you give to someone struggling with fear and uncertainty about starting their own business?
Oh my god, love this question so much. Honestly, okay, guys, get ready. Pen and paper. Make sure you have a pen and paper, okay? Listen up. Okay. So the very first thing is I wanted to say is find the right support system. That's super important. Number 2, make sure you are honest with yourself on what you are doing. Be honest with yourself what you're doing. I feel like sometimes we just go into the business because we go for the money. Be honest with yourself.
Right,
Why are you doing this? Make sure your why is super powerful to the point where you will never give up on your business.
right,
And then number 3, find the right coach, mentor. Make sure you find the right one. If you feel uncomfortable with them, please, please drop it. Do not waste your time. Make sure you value your time. That's number 4. Make sure you value your time in your business. If you do not value your time in your business, people will walk all over you.
right.
Please be mindful of your time. Okay? Because if you are mindful of your time, the more people are going to respect your time. Super important. And that is my tip and my advice.
Awesome. So I hope you guys wrote that down. She gave you some good pointers, okay, to get you started. Hopefully, it's a confirmation for a lot of you guys who listen and watching on the podcast. Okay. So, can you share a moment in your journey, Kellina, that truly defined your resilience?
Yes, I would say the moment is when my grandmother was passing away. And my grandmother was my everything. She was like a second mom to me. And I did struggle with my self-esteem and confidence because of my hearing loss. And she always taught me, always be aligned no matter what life throws at you. And I didn't really understand that until I got older. She passed away during COVID. And now I'm getting older and I'm realizing, wow, you have to be resilient with yourself and have to put that mask on no matter how difficult life is. Especially myself as a deaf person, it's always going to be difficult for me every day. And I did not allow my disability to define who I am. However, there are some certain things I do define my disabilities. But I realized that I am one person at the end of the day. And I learned that I have to take care of myself and I come first. And that's how I define resilience, is by understanding who you truly are, where you come from. Never forget who you are, especially how powerful you are. So that's how resilience is for me.
That's amazing. Um, my condolences to you. Um, yeah, I'm just like blown away right now. So what's one action um that listeners can take today to start breaking their own barriers?
Okay, so I'm gonna ask everybody a question. I want you guys to think about this for a second.
Okay.
Let's say God comes in your dream and he said you have this amount of time to live, X, Y, and Z. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you're going to do? You could either book a flight to your dream destination, or number 2, you would tell everybody that you love them and let them know how much you care for them. And number 3, you could be chasing that dream that you always wanted to accomplish. And think about it for a second. If God came to you in your dream and said you have this amount of time to live, what would you really be doing tomorrow? And at the end of the day, you have one life to live. God may not give you a second chance to live, but you, that one life that you have, think about how you want your life to look like or be created. No one can stop you from anything. Just like me, being a deaf person does not define who I am and does not allow me to become successful. I don't allow my disability to be in the way of becoming successful. So please, if you are having excuses, it's okay. But you have to understand that you have one life to live. And that's it.
I love that. Guys, think about that question that she asked. A vacation? Mm-mm. But tomorrow is never promised. So I'm so grateful that you bless my platform with your presence, Kellina. You are always welcome to come back anytime. You can come back and talk about your book. We can go over some of the pages and inspire me and the audience, okay?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited to come back.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You're welcome anytime. But can you share how we can connect with you?
Yes, everybody can find me on Google, Kellina Powell. And if you are on social media, you can find me on Instagram, which is Deaf Queen Boss. Or
Mhm.
you can have my website. You can go on my website. It's KellinaEmpowerment.com.
Awesome. And everything she just said will be listed and linked in the information bar. You guys just go check that out. But that's it for today's episode of Voices of Victory. It was such a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I was super excited, honestly.
Me too. Remember, no obstacle is too great, no dream is too big, and your voice matters. If you found this conversation inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep pushing forward and claiming your victory. Bye, everyone.